Hi, welcome along. West London VR race 6.6, the NATO mission. 15.6 kilometres long, elevation 111 metres. That is nearly all at the end. This is all going to be won or lost on the hill at the end. So, get ready. It starts off with a big downhill. Then it's fairly flat along a valley. It's maybe a slight incline on that, but relatively flat. And then right at the end, this climb. Now the climb is slightly punctuated by steps, so the gradient keeps changing, which is going to change, means you can't get into a rhythm and just fly up it. So this should fragment in the last bit, and that's where the excitement will be. Be like one of those Grand Tour mountaintop finishes. See who cracks first. Can't wait. So we're only 4 minutes away from the start. Let's remind ourselves where we're at. 4 of the competitions here, there's 6 altogether. The others come into play later after this race. General classification, Nick Greenhalgh and Jan van Oudenaarde are now slugging it out at the top, with Doug Hart's not letting them get away very far, and he's pursued hotly by Ned Bowen and John Sammet. Wouter Clay's current champion just behind there, James Melville from Glasgow, Johan Aaron, Stephen Brierley from No Pins, top No Pins rider in there, Andrew Gower from Twickenham CC doing really well, Alistair McAlpine from Glasgow, and Matt Hammond from Rasio making up the 12. In the ladies, it's Caroline Reuter. She's ridden 5. Remember that in the ladies league though, it's your top 6 races that count. Wendy Wonderwheels from Down Under is next. Daniel Gaunt from West London, Laura Whittingham from Twickenham, and Lisa West also from Twickenham. So in a race for RIAC. RIAC dominant in the ladies teams competition. They're pulling away from West London VR, but we see what happens in the men's, the general teams, should I say, because they can be mixed. No Pins are pulling away very strongly from Moon Riders. Rasio Racing, despite some great results, all the way down in 3rd, pursued by Rasio Racing Black, of course. There is Rasio Racing Orange in 5th as well. Glasgow United also in the mix. Watford Velo doing superbly well just ahead of Pedlars. I think it's time we got over to the start line to see what's going on there. And what have we got? We've got 94 riders online at the moment. As we look down the starting straight, they'll be bursting out of them there at some speed. And as I say, if you look at the profile, you will see, this the profile's at the bottom, that it looks fairly flat all the way. And we've got 2 blue sections. This is because the first half, or the first, I suppose, quarter of the race is effectively downhill. And so, and amongst that hills, you've got those 2 sort of bluish sections. Then flat along the valley, it does actually slightly rise. And then just look at that finish. Red, orange, yellow, and a little bit of green at the end. It finishes at a NATO site, and this is why it's called the NATO mission. It's all top secret and not marked up. It's fairly obvious where it is because it's all fenced off and there's soldiers there. But this is why it's called the NATO ride. 1 minute 18 to the start, and we've got over 100 riders now on the start line. So this is going to be one big rush. And if you haven't watched one of these before, the trick is you've got to get away quick, get into that front group and try and stay there and hang in there as long as you can. Just looking at the names and see, we've got Roy Shields, Caroline Reuter in there for RIAC, Matthias Bergfist, Gordon Jackson, all Doug Hart, names you'd expect. Tom Allsop in there, I see, as well. Nick Greenhalgh at the top. Looking forward to this. The big names will be here today. Looking at the array of jerseys in there as well. We see Moon Riders and quite a few Wahoo jerseys in there actually as well. I see in the blue and purple. The blue, pink and white, of course, is my own West London team. In the middle of your screen, just under the word race, you see the red stripe down. That will be the Glasgow United guys. They ride in GCN jerseys. OTR white jerseys, black sleeves with the green stripe down black shorts. Look out for those. The multicoloured shirts of the No Pins guys as well. The R3R, black and orange for Rasio Racing. 3 seconds to go. They're going to burst off the line any second now. Here they come. And we're off. And just look at that spurt. Somebody's got off the front very, very quickly. But already people fighting to stay on it. You can see how spread out it is as they all rush underneath the camera. And the loss of somebody on an upright, but and it's Gottlieb from Denmark. Again, he's been putting in some great races recently. Wouter Clay's chasing. You can see just behind that Maronio Sesson and Matthias Bergfist, King Tubby in there, as well, all chasing in the front group. But that will be quite a big front group, and what we'd expect to happen next is this will get together. Gottlieb can't stay out on the front for the whole race. And now I've said that, he probably will, but I don't think so. And you can see this front group forming already now. This is the swarm. Now, it's going to be hard to splinter this on this downhill, but it is possible. You can actually splinter this. What doesn't seem to be happening, though, he hasn't managed to make that string out into a long line, so I think the bunch is going to be able to hold together. You can see those RTR jerseys in the middle there, the brightly coloured red sort of purple mix. Quite a gap there between Gottlieb and the next riders, and see Peter Sibley's in there for Watford Velo. They're having a phenomenal time, and the catch is made. I always thought that was going to be difficult. Tootsie James Melville, Wouter Clays, all the big names coming up there. One of the OTR riders, Jim Ogilvie. Jim Ogilvie, of course, from OTR. He runs all the OTR events. Make sure you check him out. He's got the Tour du Monde coming up in early January, one of the big ones on RGT. He, of course, runs the Love TTT series as well. Hamilton off the back of that group. As you can see, we can go towards the back now. What you need to do if you do fall off groups, you need to Dave Buckley out on his own. He's quite a strong rider. I'm surprised he's that far back. I think he's just waiting for this group. That's what you need to do. You wait for the next group, get in, work together. Marcin Struderek in there as well. Caroline Reuter for React Racing, doing very well in the ladies series. One of the Ratio riders in there as well. I see. Sutherland. We're looking back here. We've got Canardo and Claire Miller for Twickenham. I see in there. Roy Shields, Dave Hayes, Gavin Grant, sorry, for Twickenham. All names that turn up regularly. This is Claire Miller for Twickenham now. She's with another Twickenham rider in there, so they'll probably work together. They need to get on that little group in front of them, though, don't they? See if they can get together. A bigger group is more effective for these riders near the back. So let's see what they can do. Can they bridge that gap? Going back to the front, Gottlieb is he's not given up his dreams of being on the front. He's got two riders with him. Doug Hart, who likes to pull out on the front. Noonan, I'm not so familiar with, but it seems to like that sort of play as well. We're 2.5 kilometres in, 12.89 to go. We've done one of the two blue patches on the bottom, but we're coming up to the really steep one soon. This, I think, does offer some opportunity to drop some riders off the back, but I'm not sure that this first... Well, that's the first time we've seen that really string out into a line, isn't it? So perhaps this is the key moment. That has strung out. That's no longer a blob. That is a line, and you will now lose riders. This is the way these are played out these days. We're in the third season of this, so sixth season of this, third year of it. And in the early days, the blob used to stay together and have a sprint finish. And the same sprinters would win quite often. So the other riders now like to do this and see if they can shed some of the sprinters. Doug Hart is typical for this. He's does it all the time. Solly now coming out for Norway in front of, we've got Ward, Van den Ord in there as well. Who we've got, Nick Greenhouse is there. Oh, Stuart Gillies for Twickenham. Pleased to see him up there. Great riding, Stuart. Nice to see you. Loren Sesson, Noonan, Kamil Walagura in there as well for Moonriders. Now that has thinned that group out considerably, and you can see there are people behind. Some of them might just get back on, actually. I think this little group behind have got a chance, and it looks like they're going to make it. They're going to expend some effort, but certainly riders will be dropped at that point. You can see, and it is such a fight to get back on that sometimes you get back on and you haven't got enough left for the next spurt, so the next time somebody shoots off the front, it's very, very hard to keep up. So, looking further back, we've got Maria Witsky there from Puerto Rico. She was telling me, I don't know if I can see him, there's a young lad, 14 years old, taking part tonight. Joseph Vargas from Costa Rica, so Puerto Rico, sorry. And I can't see him on there, but I wonder if he's in there. He's very first time. Good luck, Joseph, if you are in there. There should be a couple of new ladies for Watford Velo as well. as they want to start up a ladies team. So we're delighted to have them along. Watford have been such a great club in these series, so to add a ladies team would be phenomenal. So these guys just falling off the back, a little bit difficult to get back on. As we go back to the front, see Rusty Jacek Rohrback is in there. Absolutely delighted. Jacek Rohrback, wearing West London kit, I think is actually, yes, in second place. You can see him at the bottom of your screen there. An old friend of mine. In his younger days, used to be a pro out in Poland, and he's gone back to live in Poland from the UK, but absolutely delighted to see him up front there. So fair play. Peter Sibley for Watford Velo is in that group as well, and he's having a really, really good season in these rides. But it's Marcin Maracek out the front for Rasio at the moment, and he's pursued by Sully. Two Rasio racing riders off the front now. They're pursued by the no-pins. There's 3 no-pins riders behind them. Yes, this is getting a tussle, isn't it? Stuart Burley, Smart, and Jan van der Noord as well. And Jan van der Noord is having a tremendous season in this Series 6 too. That's splintered a little bit, and it's got Liebert up the front again. Smart for the no-pins Rasio team up the front now. We see Kaja Gurgil for NZ Bro, Norwegian living in New Zealand. You can see this thinning again. These surges off the front do this. You know, once it goes into a line, somebody on the back is going to be struggling, because this denotes that they're not all comfortably sitting in a pack. And this is, as I say, I explained earlier, this keeps happening, and this is how it thins out. And we see that Berlech there, the Slovenian, and Jack Samway is coming off the back at 72. But Jack will be disappointed with that. He's been having a good season for Watford Velo. And Arbo in their land. Gavin Grant for Twickenham at 75. Winterprott's another Twickenham rider in there. I think there might, yes, 2 Twickenham riders in there. And Maria Witsky from Puerto Rico in the West London kit, just fighting to keep on. Maria is just hauling her way back into that. Hodges now at the front, and Smart Heart, that rhymes nicely, doesn't it? Maracek and Gottlieb, Noonan, Kamil Walagara, all in the chase there. A bit of a blob. I don't think Hodges is going to hold out on his own for too long. That's too long to go on your own. 6.5 kilometres done, just under 9 still to go. And as you can see, we're on the flat bit, although this is very, very gently rising. You will see that by the time we even get to that hill at the end, we're slightly, ever so slightly higher than we were before. We're going up a river valley, so it's fairly flat at the bottom of the valley, but obviously the river is flowing downwards, so there is some rise. Smart for R3R, the no-pins team, pulling the chase. Fausto Clay's happy to sit in there. I see 39th by this time. Byron Harding is in there for OTR too. Will Brown having a great season there for Westerly, in at 9th at the moment. Well done, Will. And he's just sitting behind Stuart and Hart. Great riding, Will. He's really coming strong. Tim Cummins at 42, also for Westerly. Just falling off the back there. I think Tim's quite a strong rider. I think he'll be able to haul that back, and yes, he does. Although he's being made to fight for this, isn't he? Absolutely pulling back. But well done, Tim. Makes it back on quite nicely for 42nd place. So we know that there's 42 in the front group. We have 102 riders online, so there's 60 people battling out smaller groups behind. And we do like this. We kind of see it as a natural selection, that you end up in a group that suits you if this one up the front's too fast. And sometimes, you know, you can have a good day, stay with the front group for quite a long time as we go through the halfway banner, and you know, get an advantage on some of your club mates. So every race is different, but we do like the idea that you end up probably in a group that suits you. And Solly, the Norwegian, going off the front now, giving it a big push, seeing if he can't just stretch it that little bit more and cause some problems. He's being traced by Henry Mark from Sweden, so it's Scandinavian 1-2. Peter Sibley and Doug Hart making it UK chase here, and Marv from Sweden is just pushing away, and they're not working together. I think they're both going to get caught by the peloton. Peloton being hauled up by Kaja Gurgil there, the Norwegian from New Zealand, with King Tubby just behind Peter Sibley, and Noonan Western from Norway as well. A couple of Norwegians up in that group. But you can see just behind, it's not comfortable always sitting in this peloton, because those spurts. I see somebody from Southborough on there. Oh, it's Julian Fussell for Southborough District Wheelies. I think there might even be two Southborough jerseys in there, but Julian Fussell, one of them. And he's got Gottlieb again. He's really putting in some shows. I mean, if there isn't there isn't, but if there were an aggressive rider prize, I think Gottlieb's probably done enough to win it already, hasn't he? Disappoint Doug Hart and a few of the others who like to go off the front, Kaja Gurgil. But Gottlieb, I think, has been the man who's done the most work on the front, or off the front, I should say, because there's usually a gap behind. I wonder sometimes if expending too much of this energy is counterproductive if you don't, because you won't drop everyone. But again, this one is a very different course. Remember, we've got this climb at the end. You see that big orange, you look at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you see that big orange climb, and you can see the gradient fluctuates. It's not steady, so this is going to be a bit of an effort. We've run races on this course before. We know what happens. It fragments, and some people with healthy leads get overtaken by better climbers and all sorts. We're about to find out who's got the climbing legs. Who would you put your money on here? It's hard to tell. It depends how much they burnt themselves out just staying in this group. Andrzej Krajewski there, just falling off the back behind Jim Melville. I can't imagine either of those two falling off this group. And I wouldn't expect them to. Matthias Bergqvist on the back as well. Kamil Walagora. I think they're all going to get on. I don't think anybody's going to be dropped. But you do expend quite a lot of effort just doing those little spurts to make sure you don't fall off the back. And it can be punishing. Henrik Mard for Sweden now at the front. Got Lieb just behind him. Look at that line before you get the blob at the end. It's like a long lollipop, isn't it? But it will be hurting if you're at the back. One of the Ratio riders there just going off screen as it sheds a few more. Jim Ogilvy in there for OTR, the man who puts on so many events on RGT. Look at the fragmentation occurring there. Just look at the damage being done. This is a telling moment, and we haven't even reached the climb. People fighting to stay on there. Andrzej Krajewski, for example, and Ned Bowen. And Ned needs to be in the sprint. Ned is a fine sprinter, knows how to pick his moments, but he doesn't need to be left behind. The only thing is, if Ned expends too much energy staying on a group, and you can see that gap's actually widening a little bit, this could be a big split. Julian Fussell coming to the front of the second bunch, just trying to push and take everybody back up there. Tim Cummins, Ned Bowen off that group. Ned Bowen is off that group. I think Ned sat up and realised that he's not going to be in the sprint today. So that's a big moment. That was a big moment. Kotze at 41st. Tim Cummins at 40. Wister and Andrzej Krajewski all falling off here. Julian Fussell as well, I see. And Gordon Jackson. Oh my goodness, that was a big moment. So there we are. Just 10.5 kilometres in, the damage really done, and some names you'd expect to be in the bunch shedded at that point. But we've still got some big names up there, haven't we? Look, Jan Linden, Nick Greenhalgh in there. Will Brown's done well to stay in there. Well done, Will. I see, is Jacek Rohrback in there as well, I think. Looking at that, the West London jersey. Jacek must be on a bit of a bit of form at the moment. Be interesting to see him go up the hills. I remember one Wednesday night before he moved back to Poland, agreed to go out with a ride from him. He just made me go up and down hills. And funny enough, the hill that we're about to go up was not far from the one that he made me go up and down all evening. But I was probably a little bit grateful. It was a good workout. Nevertheless, back to the race, and it's no pins on the front now. Linden for Pokemotion in at 32, 34. Johan Aron, who's up there in the contenders at the moment. He needs to stay with this group, and he brings himself back on. Just going past Byron Harding for OTR there. And Stu Gillies in there for Twickenham, I see, still getting thinner and thinner, this group, isn't it? Absolutely thinning out now, down to about 30, maybe 35 riders at best. So every kilometre or so we're shedding 3 or 4, maybe 5 riders. Somebody way off the front though, you can see them well up the road. Is that Smart still? Yes, it is. Been on the front for a long time. This is an amazing solo effort. Maybe his strategy, though, is to start getting up that hill with a gap, because he expects to get caught if he or dropped if he was in the pack. So maybe the gap is tactical, but he's getting caught now by the pack anyway. Without a Clays, Johan van Beurs is leading Hart with Doug Hart, Gottlieb and Clays all coming up, and Johan van Beurs, I should say. Sorry, I'll get it out in the end. Matt bridges the gap, but Smart still pushing on ahead, not just sitting back and getting in the group and enjoying the draft. The draft is well worth having in these races. Johan Aron now taking up the lead, the Swede, and again, Alistair McAlpine perhaps dropping off that group. I would not expect Alistair to drop off. And I think Alistair's going to pull himself back on, but look, that is going to be an effort to do that. Byron Harding now dropped from it. Oh, Johan van Beurs, after all that effort, looks like he might have just fallen off the group. Matthias Bergqvist could be the next one. Somebody else has just fallen off. It's Stuart Gillies for Twickenham. That is a Tacanical. He's had a dropout, and that is a real shame. Absolutely terrible for Stuart there. Just 2.5 kilometres to go. Getting a dropout. I hope that fixes quick. He will be distraught. And it's Gottlieb again. Cardiff Gurgill. Marasek, Mark Rowbottom in there. We haven't mentioned him. Oh, poor Stuart Gillies. That is an absolute shame. Lovely guy. Couldn't I, so sorry for him on that one. It happens. It's the equivalent of a puncture. It happens. But it's never nice. And just looking at the spread of riders, if you look at the bottom, Paul Hinson there at 31st now, getting dropped from the group. And you can see some more are as well. Alistair McAlpine is really fighting. Jacek has fallen off as well. Alistair McAlpine fallen off. He's thinning out before we even get to the climb, although we have been up a small climb. There's a little patch of orange there, and maybe that's what did the damage. So we're down to even less riders now, aren't we? We're down to about 25, 26 riders in this group who are going to compete up that hill. As I say, if you look along the bottom, all those little white dots are riders or clutches of riders. The big dot is the one the camera's on. So at the moment it's his front sort of group of 25, 26 riders. Probably a bit more than that, probably about 27 actually. So who's going to take the race? We are now entering the final throws. So you can see on the map there, we swing around the corner any minute now. As we swing around that corner, the climb starts here. There's actually a petrol station on that corner in real life. We're now on it. You can see the gradient on the top right, 4.5% down to 3.8. This isn't the most difficult part of the climb. Got the head going for it. He's absolutely attacking this climb. James Melville now going for it. Nick Greenhouse going for it. James Melville from Scotland, of course. There's a few hills around where he lives, I can tell you, up in Dumbarton. They're on Cesson now as they hit the final kilometre going up the hill. The gradient's only 2% at this point, but there's still a kilometre of climbing to go. The group absolutely thinned out now. It's down to 20 riders. We're going to check this out. How thin will it get before the end? Somebody going off the front. It's Kamil Walagora. He's going off the front for Moon Riders. Oh, it's Mark Rowbottom, sorry, from Ratio Racing, but it is Kamil Walagora now. Mark Rowbottom just sitting on his wheel, 6.6. We're in one of the tough sections, down at 3.5. As I say, the gradient keeps changing. And who's going off the front? It's Smart again. No Pins rider. He's going off the front, pursued by Wouter Clays though. Up this hill, the gradient only 2.4% at this moment, up to 3.4%. Smart being pursued by Wouter Clays, 4.8%. And Smart perhaps just edging away a little bit. They've got 17 kilometres on John Sammet for Pokemotion just behind them. Wouter Clays has not been dropped though. Nick Greenhouse behind at 30 metres now. So I think, and that aerial view I think tells you the story. There's three up front, and Nick Greenhouse is probably heading for 4th or 5th now. Nick Greenhouse will know this climb. He knows what it's like. He knows it's stepped up to 6.7%, but it goes back down to 3.3. This is what happens. Kaja Gurgel looks like he's sailing past Nick Greenhouse. Has he got enough to catch the three in front? He's certainly making up ground. Smart, Wouter Clays and John Sammet competing at the front. Smart looks absolutely clear at the moment. He's got 15 metres. He's only got 100 metres to the finishing line. He can see the finishing line. He's up over the worst bit of the climb. Wouter Clays absolutely fighting every inch, but he's not going to make it. Fantastic win for Smart. Wouter Clays takes second. John Sammet for Poker Motion, a superb third. Kaja Gurgel, Nick Greenhouse. Oh, and a little sprint finish there. Hodges beats Wilson. Mark Rowbottom coming in next. And Stuart Burley, some of the big names now. Maron Sesson, Doug Hart coming in at 15th place. Maron Sesson coming in at 16th. And it's just like one of those... Jan van Oudenarde and CE, I don't know who that is. Stuart. Peter Sibley from Watford will be delighted with 13. 20th, sorry. He will know this climb backwards, as will Will Brown. This climb very close to Watford as it happens. Johan Aaron at 22nd as they come in one by one. Alistair McAlpine 23rd. Jan Linden, Connolly for Watford. King Tubby coming in at 25th. And it is like one of those alpine climbs in the Grand Tour, isn't it, where they all come in one by one. Oh, a little bit of a tussle here. Marisak and Paul Hinson. Now, who will get this one? They're fighting for it. They both want it. And Marisak just gets it. Jacek Rohrback, sorry, my friend from Poland, comes in 25th. He'll be pleased with that. He'll know this hill as well. Solly at 31st. Coming in just behind Matthias Bergqvist, who finished 30th, we just saw there. Jan van Beurs looking like he's going to come in next, and there's a big gap to Andrei Krajewski now, coming in 33rd position. And I bet everybody's panting for breath as they cross that line. Who have we got there? Oh, Jim Ogilvie, absolutely fantastic result. Well done, Jim. And Julian Fussell, both guys I know actually. Tim Cummins, third one I know in a row. Byron Harding, who I don't, and Wistrham. Gordon Jackson, OTR, coming in 39th. This is great, isn't it? Stuart, oh great, Stuart Gillies got going again. It'll be a case of who wonders, you know, what if there, but 40th is still actually quite respectable given the number of riders we had today. B. Van Meyer is going to beat Jack Samways. Jack Samways will know this hill as well. It's, as I say, this hill is just outside Watford. Jack Samways not quite catching him on home territory. Hamilton for Canada at 43rd. Lamont for Scotland, and coming in 44th now. It's fairly safe. It's there's Burlek at 45th, about 10 minutes behind. We've got a big gap to Mike Wareham and Ned Bowen, who are now Ned Bowen, as I say, likes to sprint, so he makes sure that he beats Mike Wareham. Stuart Thorne coming in next. Stuart will know this hill as well. He lives out in Chalfont, just down the road. Crawling over a little bit though, Stuart. Christmas party this afternoon. Fetzer 48th and Laura at we've got Stollard at 51st, so Laura was 50th, of course. You see the gap's getting quite big here. None of the sprint finishes I was really expecting. We've got a couple of riders, say Celador coming up next at 51st. Puta at 53rd. Then we've got Nick Lee, David Buckley, teammates from Westerly, 54 at 51st. I don't think any of these positions are going to get changed. Nick Lee comes in, nice little wave. Hiya, Nick. Pleased to see you. And David Buckley, his teammate from down there, Leatherhead, is coming in next at 55th. We've still got 48 riders on the road, and it looks like this is easy for the commentator because I can see them all coming in one by one. As Marchie comes in next with the St George's flag. Oh, nearly caught by Ian Sudby. Bukers from the Netherlands, 58th, just coming in. As we get some of the sorry, I haven't been reading out the results, but 21st, Will Brown, Johan Aaron, Alistair McAlpine and Jan Linden, we've noted all these. James Connolly for Watford. CCU just being beaten by Byrd. Sutherland from South Africa next. Alezadar is another Twickenham rider. Should know his first name, but I don't actually. But great showing from Twickenham. Such a shame for Stuart Gillies, but Twickenham always putting out a decent show. And Caroline Reuter for REAC looks like the first lady home. Certainly the first name I recognise. Kopse. Well done, Caroline. Beating Marcin Struderek from Roslov. Kopse next. MR after that. Pastel and Jay Willis coming in little clutches now. Reisner at 72nd. I hope we haven't missed anybody out. Laura Whittingham at 71st in the ladies' league. Claire Miller at 69. I'm missing out all the ladies. So it looks like Caroline Reuter, Claire Miller, and Laura Whittingham in the ladies. Lafitte for France. Kulu for Germany. Next, Exlind. I don't know, but it's French. It's probably Xavier, isn't it? I'm guessing. But anyway. Two French riders coming in 75th and 77th. Félicitations. And in between, Winterfeet for Twickenham, of course. Bell, Winterfeet, Twickenham coming in now. Well done. As I say, always strong showing from the Twickenham guys. Watford Velo as well. And Bell for the Netherlands coming in. Going to beat Shields and Bowen. It's a different Bowen, it's not Ned Bowen. Hayes Dave at 82nd. Let me get a clutch of ladies. We've got, if you look on the left-hand side, you can see Wendy Wonderwheel. Oh, we've got a little bit of a tussle. Bell's going to lose her place to Shields, just getting ahead of the Netherlander in the end. So 80th position for Bell. We've still got 23 riders to come in. R. Bowen next, looking like R. Bowen, Australia. I'll have to add her into the ladies' league, so I'm not sure I know her at the moment, but it's an Australian lady coming in next. And when I said we had a clutch of ladies, the next one isn't, because it's Hayes Dave, Dave Hayes. Oh, he's just been bit by two ladies, so we are going to get a clutch of ladies. Serena Race, just nicking that from Wendy Wonderwheels, the two REAC riders coming in, alongside Caroline Reuter. Dave Hayes coming in next. Alves, Portuguese after that. I think REAC are going to extend their lead in the ladies team competition. Gavin Grant, Twickenham CC with the French flag. He does live down near the Pyrenees, hence the French flag, but used to ride for Twickenham, so still riding for Twickenham in this. Lovely guy, by the way. But I think REAC, and we see that Mendes is coming in next at 68th for REAC, so they're going to have a strong showing at the end of this, and I think they're going to extend their lead in the ladies league quite considerably. Caroline Reuter will be pleased with that as well, because that will cement her position towards the top of the ladies league individually as well. So Hurst is 82nd, so there's a little way to go actually. 200 metres, 4.7%. You can analyse this hill. It's quite interesting looking at this at a slightly slower speed than we watched the winners go up it, but you can see it's just got, you can see the horizon sort of coming up, and you can see where the finishing straight is going to be. 6.8% just here, 4.3%. It's not, look, if you're out on a Sunday ride, it's fine. Under racing conditions, you have to put a bit of effort in. You see, it's again 6% again here. Looking at some results up there, Jack Samways at 42nd, just behind Van Male. Ryan Hamilton at 43rd. Ewan Lamont 44. Matek Burlek at 45th. Ned Bowen at 46th. And Mike Wareham at 47th. Not what you'd expect. Stu Thorne will be delighted that he was only 2 places behind Ned Bowen. And I shall tease him about that a little bit on Sunday when I see him, if I see him on Sunday or the weekend. Defeats 49th Ivan Diogo at 50th, and just coming in Mitchell at 89, just behind Mendes, the REAC rider that I was just talking about. Edward Maria Witsky from Puerto Rico, probably going to be the first West London lady home tonight. Illness and other things curtailed our involvement tonight. Another lady in Lisa West for Twickenham CC at 93rd is coming up. Oh, second West London rider at 95th, Jessica Wright. So just the two riding for West London tonight, which will be great news for REAC because they dominated at the front with Caroline Reuter, of course. Here comes Maria, and that Puerto Rican flag. She trains a lot of people in Puerto Rico. As I say, I was hoping there was supposed to be a young lad called Varga from Puerto Rico. I haven't seen his name come up, so he might be racing under another name, perhaps. But anyway, Maria made it, which is great news, and Maria crosses the line first home for the West London ladies. Well done, Maria. Fantastic stuff. Morgan coming up next is a Welsh rider. It's a very common name out there, I assume. See Morgan always reminds me of Cliff Morgan, who's a Welsh rugby legend. So, looking at these last few results, Andrew at 61, Peter Alizadeh for Twickenham at 67th, Callum Reuter there at 63rd, just pipping Marcin Schluderek, Gasper Cops, Manuar, Snazzy Pastel, John Willis, Claire Miller second for the ladies at 69th, beating Robert Gilmore. Here comes Lisa West, who's 93rd, and I think with Lisa West, I mean, she helps me sorting out the entries and names to go into the Twickenham team, and her husband is president or chairman or whatever they have at Twickenham, so she's very actively involved in local cycling. Laura Whittingham at 71st for the ladies as well, and what have we got? Let's say, oh look, Lisa's going to lose a place by the looks of things to Lockyer just here, coming in at 93rd, pushing Lisa back to 94th. Looking down at the results, Lasse Rima, Cacciolotto, Tito, Mark Billam, Thierry Lafitte, Michael Kalou, XVT Lemon, Murray at 78th, Rob Shields 79th, William Bell. Used to be a soul singer called William Bell. He had a big record called Happy, if you're old enough to remember. Chantal Mendes was 88th for RIAC, as well as Lisa now crosses the line in 94th. Gavin Grant, teammate, at 86th. Here comes Jessica Wright. She'll be grimacing at the 5.2 gradient that she's looking at the moment. 500 metres to go. I'm sure on our little WhatsApp group she shall be making a comment about how gruesome the last few hundred metres were. But as you know, if you're this far through the race, you're not going to pack up and go home because of a little bit of gradient. You can see it's agonising because you can see the top, and when you are struggling, you know, it's a bit of effort. Wendy Wonderwheels at 83, just picked by Serena Race from RIAC in the ladies. They were behind Richard Bowen. 84th, Dave Hayes from Scotland. David Alves at 85th. Gavin Grant, Twickenham rider who lives in France, at 86th. Ian Hurst 87. Chantal Mendes for RIAC. And it looks like Jessica's about to... Oh, Lisa's in there. I didn't realise. I haven't spotted Lisa. So they'll be chatting about that little tussle at the end. Lisa storming up to nick a place from Jessica. Lisa Snell got a family of cyclists. Her son is rather fast. Unfortunately, we can't get him to do these races because they've only got one smart trainer in the house, and Lisa takes it. But maybe that's good news for everybody else. If you're watching, Frankie, one day when Lisa can't do it, I want you here. Okay. Lisa looking quite emphatic on that little pass by on that last bit. She will know this hill because it is local. And as you can see from the blog, looking at Jessica, she's still got some of the hard bit to go, and you can see it visually, can't you, as Lisa disappears into the distance. Got Cole, Javar Hip, and sorry, excuse me. So we got Cole. Cole is probably 97th. Is probably where we're going to cut things off, I would think. We'll watch Lisa finish for now. It's 95th place for Lisa. Obviously, I think some people have dropped out because I think we'll start with 102 riders, something like that. 95th for Lisa. Jessica still pushing away now. She's got 96 metres to go. She's 120 metres in front of Cole, so I think she's fairly safe. She's not going to get caught, is she? 49 metres. Absolutely fantastic. Well done, Jessica Wright. Great to see you finishing like that. Jessica from up in Lancashire, riding for West London. Fantastic finish. And here we have Cole, the last rider of the day at 97th. can just see that last passes that 100 meters sign on the right. Still some gradient into the green bit, but it's still 2.2 at this finish. And as you come up here in real life, the actual finish is right outside the gates, the entrance to the NATO headquarters. And that about wraps it up for this evening. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. That split up at the end, just like a proper mountain climb, even though it was nothing like as long and nothing like as steep. Chris Smart, worthy winner. He won that emphatically. The little 3 breakaways there. Wouter Clays, John Sammet just having to settle for 3rd there after a great finish and to catch up the first 2. Kajal Gunnar Gerson 4th. Nick Greenhouse just losing out a little bit there, but Nick will be quite happy with that in terms of the overall GC. Brian Hodges, Ray Wilson, Mark Rowbottom 8th, losing a few points to Nick Greenhouse, but I don't think he'll be too worried about that. Heinrich Mard, James Melville for Glasgow United at 10th, Stephen Briley up there in the top 10 as well. Kamil Waligora again will be quite pleased with that 12th, given the nature of it. Jesper Gottlieb, you have to feel sorry for him almost being 14th after all that work on the front, but that is still a good result. Just behind John Noonan. Doug Hart, again another one who pushes so hard on the front for Pedalers, 15th. Marino Cesson, the Italian, beating Jan Van Oudenaard, who will probably have lost a few points to fellow people up the front. Peter Sibley at 20th for Watford Phalo is great, just behind David Stewart and Chris E. Will Brown at 21st, he's having a phenomenal time. Well done, Will. Johan Aaron up there amongst the contenders, as is Alistair McAlpine as ever. Jan Linden Pokemotion, 24th. Some great names at 23, 22, 23 and 24, all losing out a little bit. Marianne Marasek at 27th is behind King Tubby, and Watford's James Connolly, I think it's the first Watford rider in today. Paul Hinson at 28th. Jacek Rohrbach, my good friend, at 29th. Matthias Bergqvist 30th, and Torleif Solly, the Norwegian, at 31st. Jorgen van Beurs at 32nd. There's a Jan van Beurs and a Jorgen van Beurs, which always confuses me, so apologies to those two. Just beating Manchester Polish resident Andrzej Kajewski. Ginga Mogilvy from OTR is there, and as I say, look out for the OTR events. They're phenomenal on the RGT platform. Beating Julian Fussell from Southborough District Wheelers. Tim Cummins from Westley. Byron Harding for OTR. Pipped Evan Woistenson from RTR and Opens. Gordon Jackson 39th, and Stuart Gillies, the Twickenham rider, ending up 40th after that dropout. Well, that has been phenomenal. We'll have to sit down and work out the placings. You can actually go on westlondoncycling.com, and if you look at the various options on the menu at the top, there is one called Standings, and it will give you the standings pretty much straight away if you want to go and see how that's shaking things up. So it's www.westlondoncycling.com for immediate results. I'll be putting out report results and standings and everything else on the website later this evening. Thanks very much for being here, and thanks very much for racing. We've absolutely loved it. See you next time. It's every 2 weeks. Bye.